It's time to talk about March planting season, so get your planters ready. I'm going to touch on a few crops that you can grow right now here in your garden in March in Central Florida. I also am going to have a list listed down below of everything you can grow in the month of March. It is green bean season again. It's warm enough that you can grow some bush beans or pole beans. I would plant them or direct sow them right now. If you don't direct sow them and you start them in seed trays, you only have a few weeks from that time to transplant. Beans are easy to grow. They're nitrogen fixtures of the soil. They'll produce with enough time before the summer hits, and they are extremely productive. Remember, with green beans, the more you pick, the more they'll produce. The next crop is bok choy. Bok choy is fast at germination and they grow really fast, and it's easy because we're only eating the leaves. So I will be planting more bok choy. I did plant some bok choy along with some carrots in the other bed, which was in one of my other videos, but I ended up having an ant infestation in my garden bed, and I had to take care of that before they built their colony down in the dirt. So if you live in Florida, you know that you have fire ants everywhere. They don't like moist soil, but I was neglecting that garden bed for a little while, so it turned into sand. And that's why they started building their little colony in my raised bed. I drowned them out. I don't put pesticides in my garden, so I use my hose and I drowned them out. And then I sprinkled cinnamon because they don't like the scent of cinnamon. And that seemed to have worked. But what I'm also going to be doing is adding compost, fresh soil down so that it's not so sandy, and make it unpleasant for them to actually want to be in that raised bed. So I sacrificed my carrots and my beets and my bok choy. They were not mature. I had just planted the seeds, and then probably a week after that, they decided to move into that raised garden bed. But my cabbages and my peas were still fine. But I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to harvest and have ants all over me. Anyone who's ever dealt with fire ants knows that fire ants are crazy, especially here. So I've decided I'm going to plant bok choy again, probably in the same garden bed, but I'm not really sure. Bok choy is easy to grow. It's fast at germination, and you only need to eat the leaves, so you don't have to wait a long time for harvest. Probably within a month or so, you should be able to get some bok choy. Another crop I'm going to be growing are cucumbers. You can grow pickling cucumbers right now. I would direct sow them this month. Don't wait any longer. But the cucumbers I am going to grow are a variety called China Jade. They're more of a slicing cucumber. You put them on salads. They're very fresh. I love them. And they grow, I think the last one I grew was from my fingertip all the way down to my elbow. So they are really, really long. They do well in our summers here in Florida. And I like the taste. It's fresh. Another crop are onions. It's too late for bulbing onions, but I am going to be planting a bunch of green onion throughout my garden. I want to confuse some of the bugs with the scents. So green onions are another good crop that you can start from seed right now. It's too late to start tomato from seed right now, but you still can transplant tomatoes. And I am going to be focusing on a cherry tomato or the Everglades tomatoes because those do better in the heat of the summertime. And Everglades are from Florida, Everglades. A lot of people use them in salsa and things like that. So this will actually be my first time planting Everglades tomatoes. Peppers. I am going to be starting peppers again or transplanting peppers again. The peppers I'm going to be focusing on are Cubanelle or banana peppers. They do well here in the summertime and they're very prolific. You should wait for the fall to start bell peppers, but the Cubanelles and banana peppers will do well. Let's talk about some fruits. You can start your watermelons, your melons. You can plant your fruit trees. So we have mulberries you can do. You can put up papaya. You can put up banana. I would plant the fruit trees now, because then when the summer comes, like tropical fruit trees, when the summer comes, it's going to rain a lot and you won't have to worry so much about watering them in. And I think they'll do really well. I think last year around this time is when I started all of my fruit trees and planting my fruit trees. Dragon fruit is another fruit that you could up pot or put into a pot. Now, I actually had to create a dragon fruit trellis, and I will be uploading a video on that because you want to make sure you have something for your dragon fruits to climb up and branch out like I don't know what you call it, like trees, like a branch out, and then your fruit will come on the ends of those branches. I will be uploading a video soon on how to actually make the dragon fruit trellis. I can't remember the name of the channel. I think it's Dragon Fruit. I can't remember the name of the channel I learned it from. It's not on top of my head right now, but I will put a snippet of the channel because he teaches you how to take care of dragon fruits. He said like everything dragon fruit. This is the time before it gets too hot and you have too many leaves on your tree like mine. You should probably make sure you prune your fruit trees back. I don't really prune my mulberry a lot, only after it gives fruit, and then I'll strip it and chop it down. It grows back so fast. But the peach trees, I would definitely say make sure that the middle part is open and you have proper airflow in there, because they will, the branches will cross over. There won't be proper airflow. You're not going to get a good harvest of peaches if you don't do that. So I am going to be pruning mine this month. Also, you should be fertilizing your fruit trees as well. It is springtime, so that way you can get more of a harvest. And remember, if you do plant your fruit trees this month, it is dry. It's not going to rain a lot, so just stay on top of the watering so your tree won't die. Another thing you could plant are herbs, all different kinds of herbs. You can start some from seed. You can transplant them. I mean, honestly, if you want to make it easy on yourself, you can just buy some transplants, and a lot of them will last well into next year, and some will actually come back. So now it's the time for herbs. Also, it's time to plant some flowers. You want to plant some flowers throughout your garden. Nasturtiums are wonderful trap plants. Marigolds are wonderful trap plants. Some people have a section of flowers. They have the pollinators. They have the trap plants planted within the crops. If you're going to plant some flowers in your raised bed, plant them on the edges. Don't plant them in the middle, because some take over. As you can see, I'll put a video of the nasturtium. They can take over. So I have my nasturtium down low because they just love it. And they actually self-seed themselves every year right underneath that bird bath. So I don't move the nasturtium. Marigolds are pretty compact. They kind of stay in place. They don't really take over completely, but marigolds are another good trap plant, and I guess they work for nematodes. I never had any issues with root knot nematodes, but they work for nematodes. Every flower that you can plant will attract pollinators. It will confuse the pests. So if you planted green beans all in one section and you didn't plant them anywhere else, you didn't have anything else planted around them to confuse the pests, they will hone right into your green bean section. And then instead of destroying some of them, they're going to destroy all of them. So that's kind of the idea of planting trap plants all throughout, or flowers throughout your garden, so that the insects can't just hone in on your section of crops. I'm not sure what happened with the end of that video, but anywho, I am going to take this opportunity to update you on the seedlings. So this is February 28th, the day after the first use of the fertilizer water. As you can see, nothing really going on. Now look at this. This is 2 weeks later after using the fertilizer water every time I water. Now, my seedlings were pretty much dead, and it did bring a lot of them back to life. And I will say it really affected the tomatoes and the eggplant in a positive way. To my surprise, it really didn't do anything for the peppers. Well, I guess it did, because some leaves actually came up with the peppers, but they didn't flourish like I saw some of the tomatoes flourishing. But again, that could be just because peppers take a long time and it takes them a while to get started. while tomatoes do grow a little faster. So if you have any seedlings that are struggling, definitely give this fertilizer water a try. You can find the ratio for the fertilizer water down in the description below. I hope this video has helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.